sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. As always, it's a pleasure to have you guys on. My name is Andrew David. This is Blake Newbar's high performance call with the partner program. Members young and old, new, and those that have been around for a while. And today I've got a very special guest, a gentleman who has been a part of this. We were just talking about from the beginning when Blake launched, a dude that gets stuff done, is kind of a walking encyclopedia when it comes to ClickFunnels and the partner program itself. Gives more help than just about everybody combined. And always glad to have you on, Darren. Welcome aboard, my man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody jumping on for today, and thanks for the introduction right there.
Now, we've got a couple people that are brand new, and I kind of make you tell your story every time, but you just posted on Facebook, was that yesterday or day before, like a Facebook memory of time when, because you were a legit pilot flying planes before you kind of made this transition, right? Give us a quick Reader's Digest version of who you are, how you got here.
So I'm Darren. I came into this program 16th of January 2020. No idea about any of this stuff as deep and as much as I know inside of ClickFunnels. Everything taught inside of the program. To take a step back, where I came from was actually working in aviation for the last 5 years. Prior to that, training as a pilot. And when I actually finished that, I wanted to get my foot in the door. I started my first career in aviation as a flight attendant. Here in the UK, we call it cabin crew. Then I became a senior cabin manager, ended up moving over to Spain, living there, working there for 3 years. Language was a little bit of an issue to begin with, but it was okay towards the end. But eventually I realized I saw the light at the end of 2018. That was it. Cold turkey, quit the job, moved back to the UK, back here with my mom and sister. And it's been amazing since, because I get to see them every single day. I have the time, I have the money, I have the freedom to do whatever I want to do, because I grafted with where I wanted to be. You have to have so much focus. And that's where I kind of failed over the last 10, 11 years with kind of wandering the path of going online, jumping from program to program. And eventually I came across Blake's social media lead machine. And I was actually seeing him in the market space here and there. And I was just kind of avoiding him because I was thinking he was causing a lot of noise. And as I felt repelled, I felt more inclined to look at what he's actually doing. And then other people around me were also looking at and opting into going into the social media lead machine. And I thought, what am I missing out on? Who is this guy? And eventually I opted into the social media lead machine, and then 20 modules into the masterclass, which we will all be unleashing to the world in our own niches, with our own niches. I decided to jump ship, because a week later was the Blake's Partner program that was opening. And I thought, no way, that's crazy. He's given us this. I don't understand it, but I'm going. And that's where I jumped ship, and I decided to just go all in. Although my approach was a lot slower than what some of the accelerators I've seen inside of this program. I've done this a lot faster than I. And what we've done is refine the program again and again and again, silently in the background, so that you could do this and launch this even faster. And I've seen partners do this within 2 weeks, a week and a half. I've seen the fastest so far in the accelerator program. But that comes with a little bit of skill before this, but sometimes not. Some people are just looking at the videos, watching it, pausing it, and doing it. And it's been amazing to come through and be the one that's selected to coach you all, because I've digested everything that Blake has shown and gone further and beyond, so that I can find out whatever I need to do as a marketer, make my own mistakes, come back and help you out, so that you can have the confidence and the stability and security of knowing that even if we feel like we may be imposters, or we may not feel like we're in the right place or something like that. It's like walking into the wrong classroom sometimes, right? And when you actually figure things out and actually start being the action taker, start doing the things that you didn't think were even possible. And this alludes to the post that I did recently, 2 days ago. That was a post from like 9 years ago, from 2012, whilst I was finishing my 7 weeks of 7 weeks of simulator training on the 737. And when I posted that back then, there was about 14 engagements on it, 14 likes. There was no comments. So I just thought I'd post that with a little bit of inspiration. I don't know what sparked my thoughts on that. I just started conjuring up like a thought, a single line. You never know. And then I just started looking up on the internet, inspirational quotes. What could I use with this? And then everybody started to like engage on it. And over the 24-hour period, there was more people, even today. So something that only had 14 engagements, I've recycled a piece of content from 9 years ago.
Yeah.
To show, I've done what I needed to do. But nobody really knew that before. Nobody really saw that because I never really posted much about it back then. And I was more hiding myself.
Well, so you're here now. You've been doing this for a while. This is what he does, guys. Just so everybody, Darren's went from, launching back in the day, becoming an ambassador with Blake. Like he said, he consumed it. He internalized everything. But a big part of that was learning it and taking action. And then over time, now he's become part of, Blake's team. Like it's a big part of the support you guys get. This dude is a rock star in that category. So what I wanted to do, though, I wanted to bring you on. I've been talking over the last, few weeks. We've been talking a lot about, time management and becoming more productive and raising your level of not just your commitment, but what you get done, right? And becoming better at that. So you've worked with people even before the accelerator was around, and I know you work with those members, but you working with people getting started. I was having a conversation with someone just recently, and it feels like people get caught up with things where the priority shouldn't be as high. Like they're giving priority to things that they shouldn't, and it's keeping them from moving forward. Right. Blake and I were talking about it yesterday, and I know you and I think have talked about it on other calls, but like the domain name, like pick one and go, or, other things like that. Who's typing? Who is that? That's not me, right? There we go. Okay. So, how do you prioritize stuff you need to get done for you personally?
For me personally, it all has to go down to pen and paper first. This is my method and how I've learned from other programs and what I've learned from just going through and figuring that putting out fires all over the place is just chaos. So pen to paper, what do I really want to focus on during my daytime? What is really important? Of course, you need to feed yourself as soon as you wake up, right? Get yourself in the shower, get yourself feeling fresh, do what you need to do, work out, that kind of thing. So pen to paper.
Shower every day? You work from home, you shower every... I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So pen to paper, what are the main things that think of you first? Forget about the work. Think about you first. What is it that makes you feel good and great so that you can go out in the day and do whatever you need to do, whether that would be a workout straight away and do a second shower if you do that. And if you do reading, if you listen to audiobooks, what are the things that are going to be most productive for you in your learning curve, your personal development? Now, if you come back to the idea of just thinking that you're just going to be working on your funnel and just that's it, think about leaving that to a side for a moment and think about you first. You can be busy doing nothing. And I've done that for many days, many hours, and many weeks.
So how do you? So looking at that, and that's, I think, one of the biggest problems being, you're busy doing nothing and you get shit all done, right? At the end of the day, there's nothing that's happening. So Jim's asking about, details on priorities. So I always talk about, you got a list of things that move the needle is kind of how I put it, right? That actually works with your business, that helps you advance. And then you have stuff that people think are going to be real big, but they just need to move forward with, right? And then if you adjust later, you adjust later. Blake's whole thing, launch him perfectly. What are a couple of things you think people get caught up on that takes them away from moving forward?
Oh, they get really in the weeds with a lot of things. Like they're not only, maybe it's the idea of some of the things that they've consumed, read, listened to previously. Like myself in the marketing world, like I've jumped into several different programs and they say you have to pick a perfect domain. We have to pick the perfect niche. The whole thing here inside of the Blake's Partner program, we launch them perfectly and we refine as we go. Like how many versions of the Blake's Partner program have there been? There's probably been about more than 6 already so far, and nobody really knows that.
Yeah, and we were talking last night, at dinner, like they're working on new stuff all of the time. They're working on new stuff. So things change, you know, he's launched imperfectly and just keeps getting better.
So what we tend to see over time, we might not see it to begin with, is that there are certain things that we do in our daily tasks that don't really move the needle at all. So do a self-assessment of yourself. You kind of take a step back and think, okay, what did I do yesterday? Maybe start taking a note of what you do during the day. Quick notepad on your phone, on a piece of paper, just note down what you've actually done. And if that thing didn't do or didn't create some sort of positive effect on what you want to do and where you want to be, you might want to consider removing it. That's all good for hanging out with family and friends, watching a bit of TV, bit of Netflix here and there, but binge watching a Netflix, I hardly watched any Netflix. Everyone's asking me, what do you do with your time and things like that? Like, I'm moving the needle for myself, for my future, family, everybody that's around me, and to make an impact in the world so that everybody else around me, including the people, the partners inside of the group, the accelerator partners, where they can actually move and see where they could be. So the idea really comes about, why are you doing this? And then who do you want to affect and improve? Because I always go back to being selfless, because that's where it came all about. Like, who am I doing it for? What is the big picture? Is it my family? Is it my children? I don't have children, but who is it I'm going to pass it on to? You know, is it a legacy? Essentially, all my students are here. So right. This what you do here is really important, not only for the business, those business owners out there, but then you have, where it really stems from is you. It all starts from you, and you've got to make sure that you're doing those things that are moving the needle each and every day. And if you find that those things are not making a difference to you, extract it from your life.
Yeah. So we talked about that. I talked about that this week. I showed like this model of stuff that's not effective, or stuff that irritates you, stuff that's okay, and then stuff that kind of excites you. When it comes down to the nuts and bolts of, like Denise is asking, then what really moves the needle, being consistent with your posting, getting stuff done so that you can launch. He talks about the domain name. Blake and I talk about that, naming your product. Like, just, pick a domain and go. Remember, most people are just going to click on the link that you provide in your Facebook profile. They're not going to pay attention to the other stuff. So just do it. Right. If the name of your product isn't 100% right, okay, we'll switch it later. Big deal. Like, it only takes a little bit. My domain it's a different domain than the name of my product. The name of my product is not the same as my logo. We've talked about that. Like, easy way to do it. If you're cool branding yourself, just put a name. Like, my name is my logo. Blake's name is his logo. Like, just keep it simple, guys. If you don't want to be you want it to be a company, then pick something that has to deal with marketing or some advertising or something like that, so it has relevance, and then move the hell on. And remember that the logo doesn't have to match exactly the LLC or whatever you sign up for. Like, those are some of the biggest things. And then, like Chris was saying, the videos. I think if you were on at the very beginning, we were talking with Sue, she popped on, and she said, we did the little video, and then my guy edited it before she did it. And then with someone else that posted, like, they were messaging me back and were almost apologizing for how their video did. I thought it was great. Guys, you're going to judge yourself much worse than what the reality is. Okay. And I'm the perfect example of this. You guys know, recently I went and I filmed some stuff for a personal development course. I'm having that edited done, and like, I don't like it. I know I am pale anyway, like, Cullen vampire pale. I understand that, but I feel like I got washed out in the video, and I didn't like this and I didn't like that. And my guy's editing it, and it actually doesn't look that bad. But I had a call with one of my mentors the other day, and he said, listen, you're doing the same thing you always tell people not to do. You're judging yourself too harshly. Put it together. I promise it's going to be better than you think it will. And so we all do it. So Chris, if you're judging yourself too much on that, stop it, film it, put it out there. Right. And the only way to get better at that is to just do it. There is nothing else that helps other than doing it and putting it out there. What if you look at, let's let's assume we've launched. Let's say we get to launch. I know a lot of you guys haven't quite got there yet, but just go through step by step. If you're with the accelerator, go through step by step, have stuff done, get done what you need to do. Let's talk about once you've launched, some of the biggest differences between people that make it and people that don't when it comes to creating an audience and engagement, et cetera. What do you think some of the biggest elements there?
Oh, the biggest thing is that a lot of people just launch this thing and think everyone's going to come to your Disney World in the Sahara Desert. Nobody knows that your profile even exists if you're a brand new person. So you've got to play the social game. If you're doing this organically, you're going to have to start pointing out content, whether it is just a couple of lines. Go and have a look at Blake's personal profile. Go and have a look at his page. Go and have a look at his group, or anybody who's in your niche already. Go and have a look at their page, their profile, their group, and see what kind of content is actually causing the attention grab, right? So we were trying to actually cause a hook, and there's going to be some sort of value or story in the middle of it, whether it would be an actual post, a couple of lines, or what. Go and have a look at what I just recently posted. It was literally 4 lines. And I didn't expect for so many people to actually just go and start engaging on that. So go and emulate the people that are doing great. Bob Proctor, Anthony Morrison, Adrian Morrison, Grant Cardone, whoever you're following, right? You're following them for a reason. You're in their groups. You're following their particular pages or the profiles. Go and have a look at what they're already doing. Go look a little bit further down in their history and see what was great. And what I find is that a lot of people don't tend to not only put content, but they're afraid to even publish. I've seen people move towards pages, and which is great. You can use pages, but there are implications of that. Like, you can't get into a certain group if the administrator has questions on there, for example. You try and add that or join that group, and you're not presented the option to add yourself as a page in your name. So lean into being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Even if your family and friends are on there, you can change out so that certain settings that your family and friends don't even see that post. They can see your cover. They can see your collections on the left-hand side, which has changed from featured image. But lean into being personal.
Yeah, just get used to being uncomfortable, guys. And I love what you said. Nobody, so someone's messaging me about, Darren, did you say you started with nobody? Look, we all start with nobody. Everybody that's ever made it started with 0 followers. Everybody. He mentioned Grant Cardone. You look at Gary Vaynerchuk, who's huge on social media. You look at any of those guys, they all started with nobody at the beginning. But they're prolific content creators. They put stuff out. And if you're sitting there going, I haven't done it yet, and for the person that just messaged me, for crying out loud, honestly, like, with all the love, it's been less than 30 days. Like, it takes time. This is a quote that I use all the time, guys, but don't overestimate the short term. But damn it, most people grossly underestimate the long term. You didn't jump into this. It boggles my mind, but it's hard for us to grasp because it's just how we're wired. You guys have been in a business or an industry that you were in for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And most of you become phenomenal at what you do. And then you start this, and in 30 days, you're like, man, I'm just not good at this. Well, no crap. Like, you did something else for 3 decades. You think you're going to be as good here as you were there in 30 days? Life doesn't work like that for 99% of the population. So recently I was talking about content, and Darren, give me your feedback, what you think about this. So I said, people are like, well, how much should I post? So I said, Facebook and Instagram, let's just kind of same thing. And you can post on Instagram, push to Facebook, and vice versa. So I said 3 to 7 posts a week, 3 to 7 reels a week, because right now they're pushing video, and 5 to 10 stories daily. And do it for 60 days and shut up. And just expect a little bit of traction towards the end if you're also kind of posting in groups. But if you want to go organic, at a minimum, start there. And then you can start to build. But if we just put that on and go, hey, I'm going to do this for 30 to 60 days, I'm going to do it for 60 days, and there we go. Right? So what do you think about that approach?
Absolutely. You just throw it out there, see what people are actually going to buy on. You don't know what people are thinking or feeling at that time. You don't know how Facebook is actually working with the algorithm push and everything like that. Once you start using it, you'll start to feel the difference. You'll start to see the difference. And we also have something called the Omnipresence Strategy, where you're engaging on other people's profiles. I do it on groups, I do it on pages, I do it on adverts as well, even though we're told not to. I want to gain as much attention as I need to. So we prime our feeds, we do all that kind of thing, and do exactly what Andrew has just mentioned right there. Just do it, even if you don't make it up to 6 to 7 or 10 stories in a single day or anything like that. I've done the most as 4 stories in a day. I did 1 post in a day. I think for about 2.5 weeks, I started doing like a post a day. And out of those 5 posts, a lot happened. And then I backed that up with a story as well, because that's the first thing that people see. It comes up to the top. Same with Instagram. It's the first thing that people see. It's stories. And so if you start looking at that, and people start to be a little bit more intrigued and thinking, who is this person? Who did I add a long time ago? And then they look into what you're doing. They start to be really nosy and they go really deep in the personal profile. I've had people going back like months back, and they've commented, they've just liked, they've not said anything. Actually, someone didn't even engage and he just went straight to the DMs. They say, hey, I see that you're doing something I'm really, really great over here. Like, what is it? Can I jump on a call? Like, firstly, who are you?
Yeah, I want to check that out. Guys, it doesn't happen though, unless you're active. You know, if you're not posting on your page, you know, we talk about, being active there, posting on other pages. I've gotten a handful of, just from the little bit that I'm doing in some groups as I'm getting ready to launch my next funnel here, little bit in groups, someone on Instagram, I've had 3 different people reach out for not just, hey, to help me with my profile, but wanting full social media management. Can you do websites? And I do that with certain niches, but you do it enough and you get to a point, and this is one of the coolest things for me. I'm now at this point where there was one that's in the construction industry, and I don't, because I did restoration construction for so long, I got to say, no, I'm not interested in working with you. I can refer you out. But it's creating buzz, just putting stuff out there. Hey, Andrew, are you doing this? Right? I saw this. I saw you comment on so-and-so's post. All of a sudden you end up with a handful more followers or a little bit of engagement that you weren't expecting. But it doesn't happen if you're not posting. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Because there isn't going to be an audience at the beginning. So it doesn't matter. Just start doing it. And then the more that you do it, the easier it becomes, the more efficient you become, the more capable you become, and eventually the confidence comes around. But dang, you got to act with some courage. Yeah, not get stuck with the paralysis by analysis is what was that George and Michael were talking about up there. And for some of you, so George makes a good point, because he's in legitimately rocket science, like working with rockets in space. So launching imperfectly, it doesn't work. So some of you guys are in, careers where, no, it's got to be perfect, taxes, CPAs, nurses and doctors and other things where you're scared of imperfection. Marketing is different. Marketing is all about testing over and over, meaning I know this isn't going to be great to begin with. You just got to keep working with it. So good. Anybody have some other train to be perfectionist? Yep. Which is awful when it comes to personal progress. It sucks. It's a big mind shift. What do you think is going on? Talking about what you've seen with like organic versus paid ads and, social media now versus where you think it might be going. Like, what do you think?
All right. So the first thing that anybody really needs to be doing is I see a lot of people run towards ads. And when I used to audit funnels back then, I don't do it anymore. I saw that 4 people out of 40 people actually ran towards ads just because they thought it was faster and they learned an ads course from somewhere else. Great. But did you test your funnel? Because Facebook ads are not going to test it for you. So first thing I would always make sure, and Blake mentions this, Alex S. Elliott inside of the Traffic Secrets program that's inside the accelerator as well mentions this, and I also lean towards this too, is that you want to make sure that this works organically first. You want to make sure that this is actually tested by you. And I go through this in coaching call number 97. If you're inside of the accelerator, you can go through that too. If you're not, maybe I'll see you in there. But I go through and show you 5 different ways to test your funnel. Denise knows. Lynn maybe knows, and Simon maybe knows. But lean towards going through this, doing this organically, because then once you've actually got a proof of concept, because Blake mentions this on his own webinar as well for the Blake's Partner Program, he tested things out organically first. He didn't know if it was going to work or anything, and then things happened. People started buying. The message started to land, and it was amazing. He celebrated. That's what we will be doing. That's what you will be doing. Once you start making those wins, whether it's $7 all the way up to your masterclass sale or your done for you sales, it's been amazing for me to see those partners go through and actually make that transition from, I don't think I can do this, I'm not tech savvy, to actually launching this. And I've seen people go from that to that. It's been amazing. So leaning towards like doing this organically first, making sure that one, you test it before you even launch it. And then once it's released, you're doing your content. And so you're gaining the attention, the eyeballs, the attraction marketing starts to kick in. And as we've just been speaking about that with what you could be doing on other pages, it doesn't even have to be your post. It could be just your comment somewhere else, and someone leans in towards, hey, what you just said there was amazing. Or I see you inside of this group, and it could lead to a conversation. And then you find out about them. You let them know what you're doing, and then it opens up an opportunity just like that. And it can be as simple as that. And it's happened to me several times. So yeah, with advertisements, you'll always be testing. So firstly, when your funnel is working and you know that you've got real customers coming through your funnel once you've fully tested it, right? Got a couple of customers, 1, 2, 3. Now start focusing on your advertisements. Start adding fuel to the fire. If you've got enough money coming in, re-inject that money into your advertising rather than using your own. Is the best way that Blake has mentioned going forwards. Now, doing advertising can be risky. There's a lot of things that are changing right now with the iOS updates and everything like that. But I'm seeing other people coming out with their answers and their knowledge with what they know about the platform and being able to share that across. Well, I find that in other groups. I find that on YouTube, people are always coming out with different content as well. So with regards to YouTube, that's where Blake is right now. So he's focusing most of his...
a lot of stuff on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. I see his ads all the time.
Yeah, he's pushing hard there. I mean, part of it, guys, is so education and execution, right? You're balancing that out. So continue to learn. And I said this, and everyone that's been through a strategy session already has heard me say this. Maybe 99% of you. Study your terms of service, but continue to educate yourself, because sometime this year or sometime next year, whether it's in Blake's group or some other group, you're going to hear people say that social media marketing is dead, or it's too hard, or Facebook changed and this isn't going to work and that's not going to work. And yet that's the same thing they've been saying every single year, every time Facebook makes a change. And they're going to say it next year, and they're going to say it after that. And iOS, Apple just made the change at some point. Google and Android is going to make a change, and then someone else is going to. And so what? That's what they're always doing. Always. 5 years ago, 8 years ago, it was like the wild, wild west. Like you could get any information about anybody on Facebook. It was crazy. The information's still there. You just got to get creative if you're going to go run ads, but the point is education is always there. You just got to do it, but then you have to apply it. If you guys don't apply it, then nothing else matters. You've got to be active. And so he's talking about joining some other groups. Some of you guys join some other groups that have marketers in there too. Just pay attention to who you get information from. If that's the route you want to go, take a look and see if the person's actually doing anything that they're talking about. Too often I'm in some groups that are Facebook advertisers, and the amount of times I see someone come in that's like, I just signed up this client for $2,000 a month. How do I run an ad? How do I figure out what their demographics are, or, their target audience? What do I do? Just make sure you're not getting information from those people. That's all I'm going to say. So, all right. Anybody else have some questions, some other thoughts? Darren, here's a question for you. So we're putting out, and you let me know if you want to share. I've had everybody looking at kind of the next 90 days, or maybe even the next, we got a little under 5 months left till the end of the year. So any goals that you've got that you want to accomplish before the end of this year, something that's kind of either off the wall. We've had some people do some crazy things. We've got, business goals, personal, whatever? Do you have anything that you're chasing down?
I'm actually working on several presentations for the accelerators right now. So that's something that's being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm always doing off the cuff type of training. So like it's now being very structured. So that right there is something that's pushing boundaries for myself. And then off the back of that is going to be a webinar. It's going to be a webinar that's going to be pushing something else. Now, you've seen the webinar that you've taken or seen what from Blake coming into the Blake's Partner program, and you can see what kind of energy, the kind of stories he tells and everything like that. That's where I'm going. Being the marketer in myself, I'm an affiliate marketer, but at the same time, there is a lot of things that people can utilize that people are not aware of. And if I stay quiet, if I stay under that rock, Darren from last year, nobody will see it. Not in the way that I use it or how I feel about it and how it can impact the world. So if you decide to stay quiet under that rock, that's on you. But understand that there are other people that are depending on you. They just don't know that you're that superhero yet. You got to make that noise. You got to make that transition. So you can actually, like I keep saying, becoming comfortable, being uncomfortable. If I said to Blake at that moment when we were on that call one-on-one, just like that, I said, Darren, I want to work more closely with you. Okay, why? I'm really timid at this moment. Like, why does this guy who's done 15 million at the time is at 20 million now? How about grab 6 people and go and answer those questions? 3 hours and 46 minutes later with 6 people, I answered all their questions. And then I did it again and again. Then I did another 8 calls, another 4 calls. Here, I was saying no, but what I said to Blake was yes. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here for you today.
Jump into something scary. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you put together, my man. What we got to do is we got to talk Blake into doing a mastermind and fly you out here to Orlando.
Oh, that'd be amazing to both see yourself and Blake as well. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'm pushing it, guys. I want it. I was on Airbnb earlier looking for mansions down by Disney or something to do something like that. Like I really want to make something like that happen. So
I have a question.
Yeah, Rick.
Okay. I'm actually been running some Facebook ads for probably just under a month, and it's probably too early, but I'm not spending a lot on ads. I'm spending a very minimal amount, more for just traffic, but I'm getting probably had about 700 click-throughs, but not a single sale out of that. So I'm just wondering what might be happening there. I mean,
you've had 700 click-throughs and no sale?
Sorry?
You've had 700 click-throughs and 0 sales?
Correct.
I got some ideas. Darren, you want to go first?
It could be many factors. So firstly, what are they seeing first? What do they see before they even get to your page? Is it a video? Is it a couple of lines? Is it a long paragraph? Is it an image? What is it that they're connecting with? So it's great to see that you've actually got 700 clicks. And I'm guessing those are opt-ins. Maybe you've got a squeeze page there. Do you have a squeeze page there?
On the Facebook page, I do. And I take a lot of the copy out of a lot of it's taken from the actual pages itself. It's basically a rehash of it's basically very relevant to what's on they're going to see eventually. And there is a video. That one video that I put on there was that on that first two-stage offer is the same one that they see at the very beginning of the landing page.
Is there any other message around that video, or is it just that video?
Well, it's basically, it's a video and it's also some copy around it. Yes.
Okay, so imagine most of your users just want to go straight to the information. So they'll most likely be listening, or they might not even be paying attention to the screen. They may have their headphones on. They may be traveling. So what we find is that a lot of videos, that's why Blake is running a lot of video ads right now. So, I've hardly seen any of Blake's advertisements more recently, whether it was Facebook or YouTube. It was about the video and it was about the copy, the information, the hook, story, and offer. So if you have a look at what Blake is doing on the social, he's actually run the same video on an advert. So Social Media Lead Machine, the very first video, he says, so what was the hook? Has everyone seen the hook? So it's in the first 3 to 5 seconds. And he mentions, oh my God, in 9 days, or something like that. In 9 days, I generated $25,000. All you need to do is boom, and it just cuts. So he's got their attention. So if it's just the testimonial videos, you need to have something that's going to lean towards you being the authority figure, being in front of the camera and having a message that's going to hook them.
Yeah, you've got about a second and a half to make them look, and then you got 3 to 5 seconds, like he said, to grab them. And if you don't do that, then that's the first thing. So if you're doing all this and nothing is converting,
well, they're clicking and going to the landing page, but
right, but getting it, so it depends on what they see on the ad, and then they're going to the regular landing page. If nothing is buying, then there's a couple of things that I would verify. And I know it's common sense, and hopefully you've done it a number of times at this point, but make sure that your buying links work, right? Because too often you go down and you click on it and it goes to an error page or it doesn't go anywhere.
I've tested it. Yeah.
Okay. I would do it again. The other thing is you're targeting maybe off, where you may be getting people that engage that aren't purchasers, because there's a difference. You know, if you're optimizing, if you're putting out your objective as engagement, then they'll engage. If they're, you know, if it's buyers, then they'll buy. And there's a big difference.
Yeah,
right? I can run an engagement ad and get engagement for, you know, like a penny or two a click or less, right? Or, I mean, significantly less with certain videos, but an actual conversion is going to cost you a few bucks.
So the goal of my ad may be wrong, and may need to set it up as a conversion ad rather than as a traffic ad.
Yeah, so it's got to be if you're going for conversions, it's got to be conversions. If you've had that many clicks, then are you retargeting people already?
I do have the pixel set up. I have to double check that that's set up.
Well, if you've got a pixel set up, that's great. If you're not using that audience that's engaged to retarget, then you're wasting the pixel. Do you guys understand? So with Facebook, you can use a pixel and then your page, and when you're running any kind of ad like that, Facebook tracks who's interacting with you. And then you can run a retargeting ad, and there's training inside the partner program under section 10 about retargeting.
Okay, I'll check that.
And now I can run an ad and I can target people that have interacted with my ad or people just like them. And now I'm in front of them for the second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th time, right? Because it takes longer for people to really get to know you, like you, and trust you. So you want to be on with some kind of hook. Hey, you want to make sure you do this. And then that was one of the first times when I started looking at Blake a year ago now, before I had said, yeah, I'll work with him. He was, you know, kind of seeing if he wanted to work with me. I wanted to see if I wanted to work with him and do all this stuff that I do. I went and I checked him out. Well, I looked at his page, and then he's got his advertising on point. So I got hit with a retargeting ad. And his retargeting ad was a different video, a totally different one from the first one. It was obvious him, though. And he was running after the phone in downtown Orlando, and he's sprinting after the phone like, wait. Hold on. You looked at my stuff. What happened? I've been trying to chase you down. And it was brilliant. But because I saw his stuff, I didn't act. He came back after me. Guys, if you're going to run an ad and you don't retarget, you're losing out on most of your conversions.
Right? I hear you. Yeah, I thought I had some. I'll double check the training again.
But because you would have to run a totally different ad to retarget. So new audience that's already interacted, etc. And if you're building up your base audience, right? Like let's say you've gotten to 500 likes on your page. Well, you can run an ad that targets people that like your page and their friends. So because if I've got a plumber, odds are he's got 5 to 10 other plumbers that are friends of his. Right? So I'm going to target him and his friends with the same ad. And then a handful of them engaged. Now I'm going to retarget those that engaged. And now I've gotten in front of them on my page, on the first ad, the second and the third retargeting. Now all of a sudden they go, oh, I'm getting an idea of who this person is. As long as you do something, you know, that's where you can run a couple of different ones. Now, you don't have to run ads, guys, if you don't want to. And we've talked about that. We're just talking about a strategy. If you're going to do it, at least give yourself an opportunity to win with it.
Yeah, I'm not spending a lot on it. I just basically, initially it was just a to test.
Well, now you go back and
test it, and so maybe change it to a conversion ad or something like that, and that might give me some
conversion, and then make that adjustment as well as far as retarget. Yeah, go back in front of the same people.
I'll take a look at that training again, because I'm getting several thousand people are actually looking at it, but there are maybe about 700 that have actually clicked on it.
Well, and that's great, but now you got to take it to the next level, right? So step by step.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
That helps.
All right. Anybody else? Hartley, I'll see what you've got, and I'm looking. Blake's not looking yet. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. I'm putting it out into the universe, so we'll see. And I had a couple of people write about doing it virtually. We may do something virtual, maybe like one night we'll do something like that, a couple of hours. But really what we'd like to do is get some people together, not to get into like travel and vaccine and COVID and everything right now. Like if you're comfortable traveling, travel, right? Like we're all adults here without getting into an argument about it, right? But point is, we want to come in, we want to do something live, we want to do something everyone together. Bring your laptop, let's work, let's do in-depth training, let's hang out at the end of the night, let's kick it by the pool, let's all eat some cool food, something like that. So right now, guys, it's just me talking, okay? And, I'm just going to set this up like I did Steve Sims. We figure out a way to make this happen.
Yeah, Andrew, where are those interview videos? Are they on Skype?
Interview of... yeah, they're in the Skype group. Yeah.
So they're not on.
There's a few of them there.
How do they go direction in the Skype group? Okay.
Just scroll up. Same. Are you good if I share yours, the one that you did?
Are we gonna edit it or
no? Yeah, I got to add in a couple of things, but are you good with showing them what's there at this?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Anybody else? Texas sounds great. Yeah, all sorts of places sound awesome, but Blake's here in Orlando. I'm here in Orlando, and Orlando's an easy hub to get to. So that way it would just be convenient. And then
Arizona is hot all year.
Yeah. Well, we'll start simple, and then we'll look at other spots. Like if I'm going to be able to convince him to do something, it's going to be a lot easier to convince him to do something like in his own backyard than like flying out and doing everything else. So for now, we do something simple. Anybody else have any other questions or anything?
I just want to say the video that you and Ken produced was amazing. And it brought me to a whole nother level of the program. It was like, okay, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but the content was amazing. And now I feel confident to move on.
The content was yours, and that's the key. All he did is pull videos based on what you put. It's your content, guys. You're capable of more than you think. Okay. Who else had a comment?
I do. It's Forrest.
Yes,
you
sir.
were saying you're going to be in Marco Island. When, will you send me an email when you're going to be there? Because, like I said, I'm literally miles from you. So,
yeah. Next Saturday through Monday, I'll be down there.
Fantastic. Let me know. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Hey, Darren, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Shirley, go ahead.
Yes, Facebook. I'm still trying to get my Facebook up and going. I'm not a Facebook person, but I'm hearing personal profile and I'm hearing business profile. Should I concentrate both, or should I excel in one or the other?
What I would suggest to you,
training's in there in both, but go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
Yeah. So what I would suggest to you is to lean in with using your personal profile. If you want to use your page over time, start to lean in towards that. Focus on your personal profile. Just keep everything all simple. Start doing content on there. And when you feel like you can manage another platform, the pages, start doing that. Just keep it simple for yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. Start with one. It's like when I talk about Instagram or we talk about LinkedIn, guys, start with, especially if you're newer to social media, start with your page. And I don't have to worry about ads to begin with. I don't have to worry about doing all this other stuff. As you grow, the opportunity for other platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, that's there. As you grow, you want to get to where you run your own page. That's there. If you get to where you want to run your own group, great, awesome. But you start with something that you can handle and just build on that. Okay, so awesome. Yeah, Hartley Marco's pretty fantastic. Who else had a comment? Sama, were you going to say? Oh, she's talking to someone else. Anybody else have any kind of comment on it?
No, actually, I was just going to make a joke. I was just going to make a joke that we all should maybe fly to UK, go see Darren.
Hey, we could do a Europe trip next year. We'll do Italy next year. I'll be out there. We'll just all hang out somewhere in Europe. Jeannie, you had something?
Yes. I have a personal profile for years, but I want to keep my business and my personal profile separate. Will my information from my personal profile, will that allow me to start with the business without it, without nothing, because my business won't have anything on it?
Everybody starts, I'm going to repeat the same thing I've said on this call. Everybody starts with nothing. Everybody starts with nothing. So a few people are like, oh, but I don't have anything. So did everybody else. Same thing. Nobody has anything when they start.
Okay, but creating my business page, will my personal page information allow me to start running with the business page, or will my business page literally be nothing and I just have to start creating?
No, you start with a blank business page, and you can, and I've done trainings on this, Jeannie, and I don't know if you were on those calls. Go back to some of my older high performance on Facebook basics, right? That's all you need to do, because I show you, here's how you start a business page. Or you log in, section 9 in the partner program tells you how to start it, how to do your personal page, how to do your business page. Like the training is there, and everybody. So when you start a business page, though, it starts essentially with a blank template. You name it, you upload images, you tell Facebook what it is, what you do, and then you start, and that's it. So you just need to get going with it. That's all. Okay. All the training's there, though. You've got access to it. Jim, you got a question?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. With respect to, your background in aviation, I was a pilot for many years, thousands of hours of flying time, and I'm used to using a checklist, because I learned the hard way when I was learning to fly that when you take things out of order, bad things happen.
Okay.
And so I've been working through the partner program step by step.
Okay.
And yet I'm hearing you talk about how we engage people on Facebook, and yet Facebook is not until we get to 9 and 10.
Right.
Does that mean that I should have my funnel up and finished and posted before I ever, because that's in,
not necessarily. You can start posting now. If you want to post now, you can start to join groups now before you do anything, right? Like I've mentioned, like I'm getting ready to launch a new funnel. I'm still posting every single day. You can start posting now, right? Okay. There's the checklist. There's the launch checklist in section 10 that you should use to launch. But, there's an order to putting the funnel together. Just because the Facebook there is number 9 doesn't mean like, oh, I can't look at Facebook until I'm done. But we also, at the same time, don't get lost in Facebook, and not get your stuff done so that you can launch. Oh, but I spent 2 hours today posting in a bunch of groups. Okay, but are you working on your funnel at all? Or are you just, like we talked about at the beginning, you just keep them busy? So
yeah. The Facebook profile seems to be instrumental, though, in if I'm going to be posting, I want to have my profile done so that if people look at my profile, they think of me in a different way. And right now, my profile is nothing more than a social. It's really social media. It's not business media.
And the cool thing is right at the very beginning, what we've talked about is you're going to post and no one's going to look at it anyway, right? But it gets you in the habit of posting. And if you're posting in some groups, they're not going to go look at you the very first time you comment. So, start. Darren, thoughts on that?
And as you post as well, when you start posting to begin with, you get to see there'll be a history of it as well. So that a lot of people will start to look at what you were like before, and then suddenly you have something. You could also mention about your journey going through the partner program, maybe doing a selfie of your workstation or something like that. That could be your homework for today. Like, just do a selfie of yourself in a workstation, maybe the partner program behind you, kind of just pointing to the screen. Something's coming. Don't have to say anything else. Simple, to the point. That's it. Yep. So you've got something visual. Someone will just stop the scroll. You mentioned about aviation or whatever the background that everybody else is doing previously, right? And it will be like a pattern interrupt, thinking, hang on a second, you were in nursing. Hang on a second, you were in engineering, or you were in plumbing. And then what are you doing on the computer right now? And you're pointing towards something on the screen. Maybe it's Blake actually going through one of his tutorials or one of the modules inside of there or something like that. Or maybe you're watching one of my calls if anybody's on the accelerator program. It's causing intrigue. Like, what is it? Because someone actually tagged me from the accelerator last night, and we're not friends. And so that was interesting to see. And it popped up on my notifications, and I checked it out. I added that person straight away. I thought that was amazing. All it was just a little bit of recognition saying that, thanks for today's call, Darren. And it was himself using his phone, took a screenshot, and he just posted that on his story. I said, go off to another group. Maybe just post it on your personal profile as well. Something simple, to the point. You don't have to think about it too much. But if you want to think about something that's a little bit more what you would like to post, we have 243 viral posts, 8 months of content, which you can download and use for yourself as well. You've got the post engagement, group engagements. That is something that you could use in your own strategy. So we've got 2 locations where you could use for your organic strategy to think about what other people have posted. Inside of your 243 viral posts, 8 months of content, we've dissected what type of posts they are. And I think I've written it down over here somewhere, what kind of posts they are, but like they're brand awareness posts. There could be wins, losses, something to do with your family. If you haven't got .com secrets, expert secrets, traffic secrets, Russell Brunson, the co-owner of ClickFunnels, who'd stepped down recently, he mentioned about this Jk5 method. JK is just an initial of someone's name, Jenna Kutcher. So she talks about 5 different things from a personal profile. So you're not just all salesy. To do with your relationship, where you've gone recently, what you've eaten recently. It doesn't really matter. You're causing attention and you're actually playing the social game. So just get used to starting to post, even if nobody's really watching. You haven't got your cover done. You haven't got anything else done. Your link's done. Your funnel's not even complete. Season your journey. As you're learning something, post about it. Maybe nobody has a clue what you're talking about. Who cares? Just lean in.
You just mentioned 243 social posts. Are they in the accelerator or are they in the partner? Because I haven't seen those.
That's so in Add Your Products, you'll be gaining those later. So it might be, whereabouts inside of the program are you?
6.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit later. So when
section 7, you're almost there.
Yeah.
They're all there. It's just keep going through. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just want you both to know how much I value you. And thank you both for your time today.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we're running up on an hour, and I got a call in 5 minutes. So, Darren, as always, my man, I appreciate you coming on, your insights and your wise words. Hope you guys listened a bit. The key to, I think, everything that we talked about is just do something and get it done, because it's not going to be perfect at first, and you're going to get better, right? Just start doing it. Get out there and make it happen. And every one of you can. So, Darren, you have any parting words for us?
Yeah, it's going to be short and to the point this time around, but it's basically trust yourself, trust the program, trust Blake, trust Andrew and myself. If I do see you inside of the accelerator, if I don't, it's been great to meet you today, but I do look forward to seeing you inside of the accelerator where I can shed down a load of... Just wait until those presentations are ready. There's some new stuff coming. So if you're not still part of the 6 weeks, still keep your eyes out on the coaching call vault.
Yeah, you'll get everything that's already, anything we add like that. So, and if we do that mastermind, then you guys be privy to some cool stuff there too. So anyway, on that note, guys, go out, have an awesome day, have an amazing weekend, get stuff done, right? Just do it. I mean, do screenshots and share this. Talk about something that Darren said. Use something that is in the content calendar that I gave you. Use something that any one of your fellow members here said. Go copy Blake. You got content that you can use, but you're capable of getting your faces in front of that camera too and doing amazing things. So go out, be awesome. Message me if you have any questions. There you go, Denise. Exactly like that. Well done. There you go. She's prepping for her Facebook or Instagram story. There you go. Exactly that. Look, on a conference call, marketing, learning how to do exactly, right? Shows that you're active. So, on that note, go out and be awesome, guys. Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.